Alright guys, so really quick I want to give you guys a breakdown before the lending session actually just start. So I'm actually in on GJ buys and I haven't traded GJ in quite some time, but you know what? I was up and decided to actually trade GJ and I'm going to continue to stay up. So over the last few days, GJ has been rejecting the downside and rejecting this area of major support, which is going to be 157 to 50, possibly like this 156 area being the lowest point. Now, I currently am in on buys, and I do see GJ coming all the way back up into this 158-800 range. Now, if we look at the hourly time frame, essentially what we have here is a shift in structure. Then we have this 158 support being right here. Notice price break above this 158 support, pull back down to 158 support, and now we're actually starting to reject this 158 support range. So I do see GJ continuing to go up all the way up into these highs over here, which is roughly going to be 158,800. You guys could possibly look to buy GJ by either waiting for a retest of maybe 158 or waiting for a break and retest of 158,200. And then, you know, anything under this 157, 700 range would probably be sell. So if price does end up breaking under 157, 700, I would probably look to short at that point. But until then, I would continue to look to buy GJ up into 158, 800. Now with gold has just been consolidating over the last few days from what I've seen. We have major support here at around 1867, and we have price consolidating. We have resistance around this range here, 1880. So if price does start to break above these highs, 1880, then we could see price actually pull back all the way up into the 1900s, where you could look for a sell-off. Or if you were to be looking to sell, then I would wait for a break of the low setup here at 1863 to actually continue to look to sell GJ. Now with the NASDAQ, so I mean, you know, the thing with the indices is a little bit different because I'm kind of still short biased, just simply because, again, like the Federal Reserve is still raising rates and there's no real like bullish sentiment behind as to why the NASDAQ, US30 or the SP500 should continue to go up, because again, the Fed is still raising rates. With that being said, we had Jerome Powell speaking today and we saw a huge move to the upside when he started speaking, but then again, like people started to realize, yo, like the Fed's still raising rates. Inflation is still high, right? And they're taking slow measures to start to recuperate and lower inflation essentially. With that being said, we saw a huge dump right after, and then price went all the way right back up. So could the S&P 500, US30, and the Nasdaq be setting up for a bull trap? You know, it's possible. Again, at this point in time, I just kind of want to wait and see for the New York session where we could possibly go. If price continues to maintain above this 154, 155 area, then we could look for price to come up into this range here where we could look to sell, or look to sell at this 4190 area. Those are all very valid areas where we could potentially look to actually short here. I mean, we have support throughout kind of like all of these ranges here. So these are the main levels that I'm looking at to keep in mind. The same thing with US30. I mean, right now US30 is trading back above this resistance range. So if US30 continues to hold above this resistance range, being 34,090, right, then we could look to come up into 34,300. If US30 does break under this resistance range, though, I would expect US30 to come all the way back down to our support level, which is going to be roughly around here. And then with the NASDAQ, I mean, looking at the NASDAQ right now, again, we're trading back above this resistance range that we have here, which actually prices at resistance here as well. So coming to the session open, what I would look for is a rejection off of this area to sell it back down into support, because we do have support here. And if price breaks above this resistance range, I would just simply buy it up into the next resistance range. Wanted to give you guys a quick breakdown. I'm going to move my stop loss to break even here on GJ because I'm already up a 1 to 1.5 risk reward ratio. Already up 15 pips. Only had like a 10 pip risk on this position, just so you guys know. I would probably look for re-entries around 158 if price does come back down into 158, or if price does break and retest these 15-minute highs that we have here, then I would possibly look for another buying opportunity here as well. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the breakdown. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Take care, everybody.